Hi, good evening, folks. How's your day been? Great. We're going back to work tomorrow, man. Get your gear up. Those working from home, well done. Those who are going to work, well done too. Hope the London transport works for you guys properly. Great. We are in episode 3. Am I correct, folks?
Yes,
Great,
you
great,
are.
great.
Yes.
And today we're discussing a very interesting topic. Should you be acting married while single? But before we go any further, I'm going to ask that you hit the subscribe button, like button, share on Twitter, on Instagram, Spotify podcast, and on YouTube. Follow us. Okay. And also, before we go any further, I thought it was fair enough we just say a few words to our founding members, DG and Tyler. For some reasons personal to them, they're not with us for a couple of episodes now. That's why we have new faces. So during middle of the season, you might see them again. Okay. Now let's go. Nana, how are you?
I'm doing very well today.
Great. Sandra, you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Great. I'm fine. Just chilling. I'm feeling sleepy a bit, but good. Yes. Should you be acting married while single? Just to break it down a bit. So this question is asking whether you should be acting married while you are in a boyfriend-girlfriend type relationship. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the question. So should you be acting married while single? I'll leave the floor open to you guys.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I think first we need to establish what acting married is. Because I had this conversation with my friends, and a lot of my friends were like, what's acting married? What's the definition of acting married? What constitutes acting married?
Interesting question.
Yeah. So is
Sandra,
you
venture to help?
So I guess that's the question we need to first, I think that's something that we have to first answer.
Sandra,
for me, acting married.
Yeah, well, let me finish. What do you think?
Okay, so for me, acting married is basically when like you're essentially playing house without any formal agreement. So without being in a marriage or even being in a civil partnership, because same-sex couples can be in can form a civil partnership, but so can opposite-sex couples now. So not being in a marriage or a civil partnership, whether you're living together, you're sharing your finances, you're mixing, you're pooling your resources together, and you're living together, and you're doing everything that what married couples do, but there is no legal recognition of your relationship. To me, that's what acting married is.
That's quite a legal definition. Let's take it to the basics.
Bring it down, honey.
I am married, so I'm not acting married, so I'm married. So
because you're actually married, yeah.
You're married.
Yes, I'm actually married. So a lot of some of the stuff you just mentioned, I think we already do that. We pool resources together. We do things for the I think for the purpose of the family, for the unit. Yeah. So whatever we do should be beneficial for the unit. It's not me just getting up and saying, you know what, I need to go get a Ferrari, when it will be detrimental to the rest of the unit, the remaining part of the unit. So I guess that's what you try to explain. Sandra, what's your take on acting married?
Well, I personally don't think it's wise to act married when you're in a relationship. And I think the biggest mistake we women do, I'm guilty of that, is to when you overcommit to somebody. Like, there are some men who, they don't really know what they want, and that's definitely okay, but until they figure that out, I just think you have to just move a certain way in a relationship. So
what way is that?
So ways that allows you to protect your interests, your self-esteem, your peace. I used to do that way in like when I growing up, when I was it's not like I'm that old now, but when I was younger, I learned that, like I used to, I stopped like giving, throwing everything there on the table, like just giving everything, maybe cooking, cleaning, just doing what a wife would do. Do you understand? I just stopped doing that because, okay, I've done that in the past, and where I'm still here. I am married.
So do you think in a marriage, women or men don't have their independence, they don't protect their own interests in the marriage? Is that what you think?
No, so what's the sorry? What's I don't get it.
So you're saying you said you said you need to protect your interests, so to speak, when you're in that sort of relationship. I'm asking.
What I'm trying to say is that relationships should be equal. So each person should be given 100%. Okay. However, if you give too much too soon, and there's no like reciprocity, then the other person stands to benefit.
And
okay. Do you understand? So
okay.
I think that there should be like some equal balance. Like don't overcommit and stuff like that. It should be fair.
Don't overcommit. Don't come to his house and wash plates. Then
exactly. There has to be some.
So who should wash? Who should wash the place? Who should wash the dishes? Get a house help or what?
No.
I gotta ask now. Who should come do the dishes for your boyfriend?
Oh my God.
He should do it himself.
Do you have to do dishes yourself? Listen, like
okay. So when your boyfriend comes to your house and your garden, the grass is overgrown, you think he should do it, or you should go get a gardener to do it?
Listen, let me explain this. You know that saying where they say, "Why buy the cow when you can get milk free?" Okay, so some people, it's natural for them to basically want to cater for someone they are dating or their boyfriend. Just be caring, show them that you are good wife material. Do you understand? For them to then choose you. But we just have to be careful, giving too much. Like I said before, relationships should be equal. Okay. And I unless the guy says to me, okay, well, I'm going to marry you. Do you understand? Then I would obviously then put everything on the table. Do you understand?
Okay.
But if I'm dating someone now, if I'm in a relationship with someone now, of course, maybe at some time I will cook, care for you and stuff, but I'm not just going to give it all. Or if there's no ring.
So you're holding back a bit before you...
A bit, yes.
Okay.
Do you understand? A bit. Yeah. But doesn't mean I'm not going to care for you. It doesn't mean I'm not going to show you that I have the ability to care or be there for you or, support you or be a good wife. But I don't have to now come to the house, start cleaning, cooking, doing all those kind of things, washing your laundry.
Help out my mom.
But I've not done my own laundry, finish. I'm not doing the laundry. Like, do you understand? But I'm not, I don't think it's wise, to be honest. I don't think it's wise.
Nana, do you agree with Sandra's opinion?
Partially. Here's the thing, right? So I think when you're in a relationship, right, I think it's give and take. And in terms of being give and take, for me personally, cooking is not a big deal because I actually enjoy cooking. I think I've cooked for, in my past relationships, I have probably cooked for every single guy I've dated. I think so, actually, because I like cooking. So for me, cooking is not a big deal. Like cooking, cleaning is not a big deal. But one thing I will never do is like, I know girls who have taken finances out in their name for their boyfriend. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
So for me personally, I think like there's different things that perhaps I'll be more willing to do when I'm married that I wouldn't do when I'm just in a relationship. So like cooking and like just like cooking, cleaning, like going shopping, like little things. I feel like if I'm in a space where we're together and it's dirty, I don't think I'm going to sit there and think about, oh, we're not married, should I be cleaning? Oh, we're not married, should I be cooking? Because we must eat. And if the place is messy, I just don't think I'm in relationship thinking about these little things. But there's certain things when it comes to my finances, hell yeah. But all this cooking, cleaning, all that stuff,
those are just
me
basic
personally,
things.
To me, I'm like, that's light work.
So just to push you guys a bit, what do you think happened in a marriage? What's your idea of what happens between husband and wife? What do you think happens? Do you think
I think it's the same.
do you think the husband uses the wife's for financial, or get the wife
No,
to
no,
go
no, no,
borrow
no, no,
credit,
no.
or the husband does that?
No,
or
I'm not
Mhm,
saying that, right? I think for me,
mhm,
like the only reason why I say that I'm personally not mixing finances is,
mhm.
once again, I'm gonna sound like such a this whole night, guys, from a legal perspective. Like, I'm not
That's
doing
fine.
any. That's just for me, because I know that if we're married or we're in a civil partnership, at the very least there is that protection, because our union is recognized by law. But if we're in relationship cohabiting, sorry, like the law doesn't even care. So if
I thought the
anything
law
goes wrong,
protect that. I thought the
it
law does
doesn't.
protect that.
Here's the thing: it's there's a myth. It's called the common
Okay.
law myth. The common
Yeah.
law, yeah. So there's
Uh-huh.
a common law marriage myth, where people think that they have rights just purely based on the fact that they've been cohabiting for a
Uh-huh.
long time. And actually, if in English law you have no rights,
I thought they did, though.
they don't.
Oh.
Just like, honestly, and we have like back when I used to when I used to be a family law paralegal, you had these cases cropping up all the time of people where they've been together for 20 years, sometimes even more than that, and like one of the spouses dies, no will, and now there's this person that sometimes the weaker financial parties in most relationships are women. So you have these women who have been with these men for 20, 30 years, no legal recognition.
Wow.
There's no marriage, there's nothing. And all of a sudden, the person doesn't have a will. They have never had any agreements or talks about how they're going to split their finances. And intestacy rules, when you die without a will, is you die intestate. Intestacy rules kicks in, and all of a sudden, the law will just pick from the list. It's literally a list. But if they were married, she would have gotten 50% of all the assets. But because you're not married, you're entitled to nothing.
So you're telling, so will it be right for me to say your experience from your legal profession has therefore informed
Oh
your
yeah,
perspective
definitely.
of this whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
that's good.
that's why for me personally,
Mm.
honestly, not interested in. I'm honestly not interested. If you want to cohabit, I think you have to be smart about it. Get a cohabitation agreement in place. Make sure you have a will. Like, you have to put these things in place. And also another thing I want to touch on within our community that we do, which also grinds my teeth, is we have these extravagant traditional weddings in like, which is basically a party, and it's like, unfortunately, once again, English law does not recognize your big hall party, wherever you had
Mm-hmm.
in what hall. And when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to it, we've had cases like this, and it's like, well, like, your marriage is not recognized in the UK, so you're
Mm-hmm.
cohabitants. You're not actually married, so you also need to think about that as well. And I always, always, always tell like my friends, yeah, fair enough, have the big traditional wedding. But when you're done, please go and register. Go to the registry, because there's no point in having that big party in that hall down the road when it's actually not legally recognized. Because if
Okay.
anything goes wrong, you're screwed.
I
So I'm
think
done.
folks, you've heard from Nana, but
Yeah.
we're not saying don't do big parties, because caterers out there, they need to make
Like,
money. I have friends
of
who are
course,
caterers.
but that's why
Okay. Uh-huh.
yeah. That's why I said,
But
when you finish,
go
do
to
what
the
is
registry.
required. Go to the
Yeah.
registry. Do what is
Actually,
required.
Nana, what you've said just resonates with me. I like everything you've said so far. And this is how I operate personally at all. I've never liked anything big parties. Trust me. Some people think I'm a
Yeah.
sadist. Fair enough. I've never liked it. Never liked funerals back home. Never liked big birthdays back home. Never liked any of it. And when we wanted
Yeah.
to do our marriage, I ruled any of that out. And trust me, I wore my suit, called my friend. We walked from my house to the church. We walked like 5 minutes. My wife with a white gown, she walked with my children. Then when we finished, I did put on the invitation. No party reception after this. Bye bye. See you later. I didn't invite much people. That's what I did. Yeah. The few people
Really?
I
Okay, that's
invited about
interesting.
7 people. 7 people.
Uh-huh.
I think about one couple came and 2 friends. So 4 came, 3 didn't come. They called me and teased me. No party. I said, yeah, that's me. It's not about you, it's about me. See you later. And when we finished, we was going to walk back. It was my wife's friend who said, oh, please, let's take cab. I said, you guys take cab. I'm walking with my homies. So what I'm trying to say is, in a funny way, I'm trying to say, I knew what was real and accepted in the system. I knew all of those lavish things would not work for me, but this is what is recognized. So I guess what you're saying from the legal profession and all of that. And it's very vital that you talk on this, especially in our communities, because I'm a social worker. I've seen people suffer,
and honestly, it's so sad.
And
because it's like, you want to help them, but your hands are tied, and it's like,
yeah,
like, and sometimes it's like, yes, because I mean, this happened to my mom's friend. Actually, she had a traditional wedding with this man who was still legally married to his first wife, never divorced his first wife, and they'd been living together for years. They had a traditional, so amongst their families they were married, they had a traditional in the UK, and he died, unfortunately. No will. So guess what happens? Everything went to the first wife.
The first wife. Oh my God.
Yeah, because on paper she was the legal wife. And then once again, I always say, you never know how people are going to act when it comes to money and property until it happens. And like, she was lucky enough whereby I think the kids came together and they were like, oh, you can have this house, and they had it. You can have this house, you can do this, and that family, well, fortunately enough for her, like, they knew what, like, they were able to say, okay, yeah, you can have this. It's not fair for you not to get anything. But we have our circumstances where the family is just like, peace out. Like, you've been together with him for 30 years. Well, everything comes to us because he didn't have a will. Well, you guys were just living together, and that's literally the end of it. Especially when you don't have kids.
You've touched on something important again, a will.
Yeah.
Sandra, if you were dating, if you were in a relationship and it's been over for like 2-3 years and you thought, okay, this is getting serious.
2-3 years relationship.
Okay, so which one is
Why
it?
Sandra, what's wrong with you?
Give me a measurement. Give me a measurement.
That's
give me
long
a,
now.
Okay,
2-3 years is
no.
3 years is not long.
Okay, for talk's sake, but just for the show's sake.
Wow.
You're courting, yeah, and you guys are saying, I think we're the ones for each other. But it's been 2 years, and that date is not still, it's not fixed. And the ring, I think you have the 2 rings. You have the engagement one and the main ring. So the engagement one is not even be given at all. You've not really discussed it seriously. Will you then be asking, but look, we've been living together and we buying this stuff together. Is it okay if we take inventory, and not a will per se, but take inventory in case anything happens? Will you be able to say that to your boyfriend? Or
first of all, I'm not even going to be living with a man that hasn't married me yet.
Okay, that rules out the question then.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. And
well,
3 years,
hypothetically, say you were doing that.
I would have that conversation with him.
Yeah, I think if you are doing that, I think it might have to.
Yeah, for the benefit of our viewers.
Yeah, those uncomfortable conversations that you have to have.
You have to have uncomfortable conversations.
You have to have it, and I think that's just
very important.
Mm-hmm.
So I will have that. I will have that conversation with him, definitely, if I were doing that.
And again, this is not just for people who are single or in a relationship and haven't done the signature, the so-called registry, the so-called church wedding that's legal in this country. It's for everyone, those who are even married, who've done all of that, because although yes, they've married, but I know few people who they're going through divorce and the husband has tried and has succeeded in hiding away some of their resources in these offshore places and places that the woman can't touch, and just little things, So I guess viewers at home, this is for every one of us, whether you're in a marriage legally, whether you're still courting. These are very, very frank discussions we're having here.
Yeah.
It's not we've gone past that stage of saying, oh, it's not about it coming to cook for me, watching your
yeah, exactly. I don't think
it's bigger
I think
than
those things are minor, personally.
Yeah, they're minor.
Yeah, you're right, Nana. Those things are minor.
I think that's like, those conversations, you just leave them out, because those conversations are nothing. I think they're far more important conversations to be having.
Yeah. I know someone who took out a loan for the boyfriend, or what do they call him baby daddy now, up to 10, 15K. And this guy just spent the money on designers. Oh yeah, baby daddy. I suppose that's what we should, if we can call women baby mama, so we should call him baby papa as well, because that's what he is.
Mother of your child, mother of the child.
Yeah, okay, father of the child. That's what he did, but they were never married, and she went into big debts and trying to pay all of these, and she's running from pillar to post, and it's because of what this gentleman has done. It happens in marriages too, where the man
I was just about to say that it does happen in marriages too. Yeah. But I think I always say this, like, you need to know your partner, because I think, and a lot of the times, right, I'm only saying this from the perspective of women, because, like I say, in most cases, they're the financially weaker parties. I think sometimes we just don't think about these things. Like, I don't think you're in a relationship, and sometimes you're honestly, you know what, you're going in there with your heart and not with your head. And one thing that my uncles and my uncle, like literally, my uncles always tell me, like, honestly, my uncle tells me this all the time. She's like, the women in our family go into relationships with their hearts and not with their head. They tell me constantly, go with your head. And that's one thing I always, sometimes I'm there, like I'm also there with my head. Because there's certain things that it is hard. With your head. It is really, really difficult. But you kind of have to be in there and go in there with your head and think about certain things. If you know your husband is not good with money, I don't think there are certain things you should. Personally, I don't think there are certain things you should be doing if you know that he's not good with money, or if you know your wife is not good with money. There are certain things that you should not do with them. But that's just me personally speaking out loud. That's
very frank advice. But for me to. This is how I say, this is how I tell people. They think sometimes I'm too crude, but that's the way I see life, man. Humans are capable of 100% evil.
Anything, yeah.
They're capable of 100% good. So I see it like this. The earth, for me, is a hustling ground. You're a hustler, I'm a hustler. Two hustlers coming together, man. We got to be smart. I got to be smart. If you come in being weak, that's your business. I've got to be smart. I'm not saying I'm hiding anything from my wife. I do not. God knows I do not hide. But what you've just said, it's what I do. You have to be smarter. If you realize that the husband or the woman was the one who wasted resources, and it looks like the way we're going, there's no plan for the unit for the future, then you need to really take a rain check and say, hey, let's have conversations about this, or this is what we'll be doing. This is what we'll be doing. But you have to be careful, because then it might even be interpreted as financial abuse again. I've seen that.
But I've
seen that.
Okay. So I personally don't I don't want to throw like terms around. I don't think it's financial abuse to say that, yo, you keep your money, I keep mine, and we're gonna put a percentage. That one is fair, yeah. We're going to keep a percentage each month. We agreed. I'm gonna put, I don't know, whether it's 30% or 40% of my salary into this account. We're gonna pull our resources, but we have a set amount. But that set amount is this. After that, everybody should keep their money. I don't think that can be counted as financial abuse. I'm not going to put money in especially my money, in someone's hands that I know is not capable of being a good caretaker. I'm not doing that. Sorry. So if I know you're bad with money, absolutely not. And I'll say, oh yeah, let's have, like, I think you should always, even if you have a joint account, I always think you should have your own personal
account. Your own separate account. That's what I think. I would have my own account.
Is that in a marriage? Because I don't have a personal account. We have joint.
Well, you both have joint. But that's the thing. Once again, me, like I said, everybody should do what they want in their own relationships, right? Because there's some people that they have joint accounts and it works perfectly well for them. Yeah. And I also know some people that have joint accounts and a wife doesn't even know, like literally knows nothing. Wow. Like they just have a joint account, and when things go wrong, that's when the financial abuse comes in. It's like when the wife says, "Oh, I'm leaving you" or something. That's it, and the husband will cut them off, block their cards, and do this, and they have absolutely like no recourse to the funds that they had, because they knew nothing about they don't even know how they're. And I'm like, your signature, walk into the bank with your ID, they'll give you everything.
Yeah, I've been told before, don't even tell your wife how much you earn. I'm like, there's no way on earth I can do that.
No way.
That's ridiculous.
Even as you're dating someone and it's gotten to an extent, I'd like to know how much you earn. If I know that we're heading somewhere, I want to know how much you earn. So now going into a marriage and not having an idea of how much your husband makes.
So how do you plan?
Crazy.
Yeah,
exactly.
How do you plan? If I don't know how you earn, how do we plan that we're taking out a mortgage?
What about in the situation where the man is the main and sole breadwinner?
Okay, so you're the main and sole breadwinner. Your wife is
what's your wife?
Homemaker.
She's a homemaker.
Exactly. Homemaker. To be in those personally, in those instances, I'm advising you, honestly, advising every woman that's a homemaker. Don't be there and not know about your finances.
You have to know,
even if you're not the one that's bringing in the,
even if you're not contributing to the purse,
even if you're not,
she's going to be the one even going to help him manage it. She would help be the one helping managing his finances. Yeah,
honestly, you need to know what accounts you have together. You need to know. I think it's very vital. God forbid if anything happens to him, what next? This is the one thing. Yeah, because this is the one thing my dad always tells. My dad always used to say, it doesn't matter how rich your husband is or whoever you end up with, make sure you have your own. Even if this person wants to provide for you every step of the way, he was, I always have it in the back of the mind that 1, circumstances can change. 2, human beings change. And 3, anything can happen.
Your dad is right.
Okay.
He was literally anything can happen.
Let's take it down a notch, not to a notch.
Yeah.
Okay. Married couples, we have life insurances, we have work insurance in case you have private medical care, blah blah blah. With any of you, Sandra, this comes to you first. You're in a relationship, you're not married yet. Will it even cross your mind to advise your boyfriend if he was working in the construction company or security company, say, guy, take out some kind of protection? Will you do that? Because that's acting married. That seems for married people. Will you be advising him to do that?
To be honest, I've never had to advise someone I'm dating about that before. So I don't think it's something that comes to mind. But I think this is one of the things. This is one of the married things you do. So when you're in a marriage, then you start thinking.
So it's not right for you to.
I'm not saying it's not right.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's not right, but I haven't initiated such conversation before in a relationship.
Okay.
Maybe because I don't know any. Maybe because I don't know any better. Or I don't know, but I think when I'm married to someone, then we can have these conversations. Oh, babes, you take out this, take out that. But in a relationship, I've never had that conversation.
Okay,
fair enough. Interesting. I have.
Yeah. Wow.
I have.
How did it end for you?
No, it wasn't. Not in the. I was honestly just telling them because I have life insurance. I have this, and when I sometimes I sit back and I'm thinking about all the insurance policies that I take out, is only because maybe it's just me being a bit dim. I think the only thing that's guaranteed in life is death.
Yeah.
So I think, especially, and within our communities, we do ourselves a disservice because we don't plan for death for some very, a lot of us don't, for some very weird reason. So I remember
I get upset when people call me, oh, do you want to get like an insurance? Like, it's your father that's going to die, not me.
hey, you will even get upset when they call you telling you they do 2-for-1 coffins.
I get upset.
Honestly. So I remember I advised him to get life insurance because I was like, I have it and I got it. I think I got my life insurance policy when I was like 21 or something. So it was really cheap. It's like I pay like £15
So singles do have life insurance policies then?
Yeah, you can take out life insurance policies for yourself because you remember that you can state who your named beneficiaries are.
Yes.
So even if at the moment I don't have offspring, but when I know who my named beneficiaries are on my life insurance policy, but it's only, as I say, because for me, I'm thinking about if anything happens, I don't want my funeral or whatever to be a liability for my family.
Okay, that's interesting.
Critical illness cover, I advise people all the time. Private health care. I was actually talking to my ex the other day, like maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I told him to go get private health care because I'm like, the way the NHS is going, go get it. Because he was like, oh, do you think I should get it? He called me, we're just having a conversation. I'm like, yeah, go get it. And he was like, oh, they were offering me it and I wasn't quite sure if I needed it. I was like, yeah, you need it because I benefit. I have private healthcare through my workplace, and it came in handy at a time when NHS was telling me that I'd have to wait how many years for appointments, and I got an appointment in 24 hours.
This is a smart idea. So singles out there, you've heard from Nana. It is very, very sound for you to take out a life policy, and for you to take out critical illness policies and all of those policies and private healthcare policy as well. It's okay if you discuss that with your boyfriend or your girlfriend and ask them to go do the same thing. It's definitely
fine.
Yeah. So
I've had other conversations with my boyfriend. Like, it's actually him advising me, oh, do you want to get a house? Or have you thought of getting a house?
I was going to come there.
Yeah. Have you thought of okay, you're into project management. Have you thought of try to upscale, do other courses? Then those conversations I have. Even I know someone I used to date that literally, tried to make me be better. Like, literally showed me the way. Like, babes, do that to get here. Do you understand? So those conversations I have, with my exes or my current boyfriend. So I think it's. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, I was going to ask you, Sandra. Hold on, Nana. I was going to ask you the question. Say you're dating. Would it be okay if your boyfriend approached you and said, "Hang on," not put that as a criteria for you guys to marry, but just saying, "Look, we've been dating for a while now. I think it'll make sense if we start saving in a joint account to buy a property before we go on to marry." How will you do that? How will you do that? Okay. Even though I don't like that.
Do you know what it is, right? No.
No.
Do you know what it? Okay, let me not even be bad man. I feel like I sound like I'm bad man, but by all means, right? Save with you. I feel like you can jointly save towards a goal and have different savings accounts doing that. You can both have ISAs. You can both have whatever your savings goals are. You can plan together, but put the money separately. I just don't like it.
Thank you.
Like, I don't know. I'm not. Maybe it's me being bad man, but unless, once again, I think maybe it's a trust thing. Maybe I like.
It's not.
Maybe it's a trust.
No, babe.
I am not fusing my finances with you.
You were not married. You did
care.
not put the ring on my
boyfriend.
Listen,
would now be putting our money into a joint account. Even I'm going to tell my parents that, like, they won't slap me.
Literally, that's literally acting married when you're in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you can't plan for your future, but you can do it. You can do it separately. Why can't you have separate accounts and say that every month we're both
I'm just saying, you know,
towards this. But I don't know about joints. If you carry the money go now, where will I get it back from?
So I'm talking based off my experience. So, you know, the relationship you've been in where it's just there's some kind of weird ambiguity, or there's this ambiguous gray area with the guy and the relationship you're dealing with. So I just feel like just because someone has given you a moment doesn't mean, you know, they will give you the next. So why will I then have joint, you know, accounts with a guy or start saving towards buying a house when you have not married me yet? What if the thing doesn't work out? Then we're stuck and we bought a house together.
Then you both sell.
I was just about to say that you can both. Yeah, I was just about to say you can do that. You can, but you have to be smart about it. In terms of, like, I always like, if you want to buy a property with, like, somebody that you're not married to, I think this is also one thing. Please, you need to do this. If you want to buy a house with somebody that you're not married to, I think it's fine and it's okay. By all means, feel free to do it. But I think you have to do it.
Your boyfriend? Is he your boyfriend?
Yeah, with your boyfriend. Yeah, you want to buy a house with your boyfriend, that's fine. You know, when you're filling out that form, there's a transfer form that you fill out when you're buying a house. You need to make sure that you've stated that your tenants in common, and you state how much percentage you own the house in, because English law is a very funny one. A lot of married couples buy houses as joint tenants, and when they buy houses as joint tenants, it operates in a weird way whereby it's by survivorship. So whoever dies first, basically, their share will pass on to whoever is surviving, basically. So if you're buying a house together with your boyfriend, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that you've said that you're tenants in common and you both agreed that you own the property 50%, and you're not joint tenants. Because if you're joint tenants, well, survivorship. That means whoever dies first will get the house.
I'll tell you one interesting story. This is somebody very close to me, and my neighbor. We became friends.
Yeah.
Me and this lady, they had a daughter who's, I want to say she's close to 9 or so. I didn't know they were never married, you know, and they were living in this flat together. And push came to shove, and then they had their issues. They had to leave, and the woman called police. She was trying to keep the gentleman out of the house. And I always tell people, laws work in this part of the world, man. This ain't no Nigeria. Yeah. And the police came. And one simple question, this is what I get every time in my job. One simple question they ask, whose name is on the tenancy?
It's on the tenancy agreement, yeah.
Only. And the guy was just sat there smiling all the time. And they told her, madam, please pack your bags and back.
Go. Yeah. And that happens.
If you don't have hostel, you don't want to go hostels now. Now she quickly called her uncle and she moved out. She moved out so not unceremoniously, disgracefully, like. And the guy was just laughing. Like, look, she almost wanted me to become homeless, but she didn't understand that piece of work, that piece of legal aspect of it. That your name is not on the test. and she's lived there for years. She's never asked the man to include her name on it, and he would have done it according to him. But this is exactly what happens. So you could be living and thinking you're married while you're not. You're single.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Yes, this is, and I think that's, for me, the story that Jude just told us is honestly me a lot of times thinking, I'm thinking worst case scenario, what's going to happen. And I think maybe it's just maybe it's I think I'm a bit risk averse. I don't know what it is, but I'm sitting down, I'm thinking about, okay, worst case scenario, if this happens, what next? If this happens, what next? Like, okay, if this happens, what next?
So are you ever in the moment? Do you live in the moment, or do you constantly think what's going to happen next? I need to plan. Okay.
I do. I think I do. I live in the moment, and I do live in the moment. And the times that I've lived in the moment, I don't think there's no benefit. So honestly, there really isn't. So I think
it seems like you're talking from experience. So it's your lived experience. That's what's informed you all this time.
Yes,
that and
lived
legal as
experience
well.
and also legal experience. I think when especially when you sit in family law for so long and you hear the ridiculousness, people that even married people after 30 years together, when it's time to split assets, they become horrible human beings. Let alone somebody that has no legal obligations to you.
Wow.
No.
You wonder, did they ever love each other? And now they're
exactly, and it happens. People become horrible when it comes to money.
I can imagine that sometimes that sort of discourages you to even want to get married.
It does, I remember I sit down and be like, what is the benefit? And I always really sitting down, and I remember sitting down talking to like one of my colleagues. She's a bit older than me, and she was like, the only reason why she got married, because she was like, she didn't really care for marriage, but the only reason why she got married is because after working in this area of law, she was like, she categorically told, well, now her husband, and back then her boyfriend, that I am not having children with you until you marry me. I'm not doing this with you until you marry me. And that's the only reason why they got married, because she was like, absolutely not. Just because she knew the protection that came along with being married.
Let me throw this story out there, and only because we have you as a legal expert, and there might be people who will see this sometime and think, oh, that resonates with me. Now, a guy had a property before, a 2-bedroom flat, and is got children with another woman before they divorced properly, and is moved on, but that's his property, that's his flat. And he met somebody else, another lady, and they decided to get hooked, and they got married legally here and back home and all of that stuff. 2 of them decided, this place is too small, the future, blah, blah, blah. They went to buy a bigger property, very, very massive. So they moved from a 2-bedroom flat to a mansion, so to speak. And 6 months down the line, the woman started acting all weird. And she's starting to say, I think you cheat on me, blah, blah, blah. I think you lied to me, blah, blah, blah. You lied to me to get married. He's saying you lied as well. Anyway, they're in the courts going for divorce. Now, don't forget that he got the first property without her.
By himself.
Yeah. But this one, he took money out of that. He took money, the majority, you remortgage from that property to put as down payment for this. The lady gave 16K towards it. And when she was living in the flat, she's paid 1 or 2 light bills and buy food stuff, the big croaker fish and the plantain and the yam and the shaki and the cow legs. I'm telling you, this is real. And now the guy's at the loser's end because the court is saying, hang on.
50-50.
50-50, not just on the big property, on your flat you previously owned. Because when you took money out of that to add to this property, you married her for life.
And you mix your finances. So you mix your finances. And
exactly, that's the term.
Yeah, because you've mixed, you've technically, but once you start mixing even the non-matrimonial assets with your matrimonial assets, that's it. Like the court, they don't have time.
Oh my gosh.
And a lot of times,
can you break that down a bit for single people?
Like, how some people have, like, you have the assets that you acquire before you get married. So let's say maybe some people have shares, they have house, they have this before they got married, right?
Yeah.
You have all of this. And then you marry somebody, and let's say you build up, you guys together acquire more assets together. But when it comes to a time where the marriage comes to an end, sometimes the courts doesn't really, they don't really like, yeah, it's there. They don't like distinguishing between matrimonial and non-matrimonial assets. They will just lump them all together and say the starting point is 50%. That's the starting
Isn't
point.
that where you sign like a prenup and stuff?
So this is the funny thing about prenups once again in English law. UK law is just complicated. Technically, right? Up until, I think there's a case in 2010 when prenuptial agreements, that was the first case in the UK that a prenuptial agreement was actually upheld. It was in 2010, if I'm correct. It was the Radmacher case. That was the first case that a prenuptial agreement was upheld in the UK. Prior to that, it was contrary to public policy.
Yeah.
So you have this thing with prenuptial agreement whereby they are, quote unquote, you're allowed to have them. But the thing is that it depends on the court. So the courts literally sit down and decide whether or not they're going to uphold your prenuptial agreements in each and every single case. So it's not automatic. Just because you have a prenuptial agreement, it's going to be upheld. Wow. They sit down. Yes. So literally, once again, this is the funny thing. The courts, they decide on a case by case basis whether or not they're going to uphold that prenup agreement in English courts. So of course there are things that your lawyers will tell you to make sure to give weight to your prenuptial agreement. So both of you make sure you sought independent legal advice. There's no undue pressure. There's this. So there's all of these things that you do to give more weight to your prenuptial agreement. But bear in mind that the courts are going to sit there and decide whether or not they're going to uphold it. And there are certain things the courts don't like. So you can't opt out of looking after your children in your prenuptial agreement. Once they see that, they're throwing that clause out. They'll be like, well, okay, like completely gone. So you kind of have to think about these things. It's like, yes, prenuptial agreements are great, but in practical, like in terms of like in reality and in practicality, how are they being used by the judges and the courts? Because the bottom line is, if the money is there, right? And that's one thing I love about English courts in like the funniest way. I only love it because once again, I'm going to say in most cases, the financial weaker party is the woman. And that's why I think it's beneficial. I think it's beneficial in that. So if you have a prenuptial agreement whereby you're saying that, oh yes, I'm keeping all my money, and it doesn't make sense, like it will leave the other spouse being destitute, the courts would just be like, throw this out. Because why if that person is destitute, they then become a liability on the state.
A burden on the state, okay. Yeah,
exactly. So they would use that in terms of like, they kind of use public policy reasons as well to sometimes throw out prenuptial agreements if we leave the other party being destitute. So if you leave them in a precarious condition, why would we uphold this? Because then you have all this money, why can't you give them some, essentially? Why should the state have to foot the bill?
So I take it in this sort of cases before courts, that's where case laws apply, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So then that's when you start running through case law. Because unfortunately, I think that's the beauty of I guess English law, especially family law. There's
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. A lot of discretion about the beauty of the English courts, because we don't have a written constitution. We don't have anything written.
Exactly.
Written. That's one thing I like about it. So there is the shifting sounds. They can set a precedent, and they use the case laws, which they're very good at. So for people out there, you're single, married in long term or not, you've heard. And you continue to your prenup agreement, they don't really matter sometimes. And also you just gotta be smart about it. You gotta be savvy. I'm not saying become risk averse. I'm not saying when a guy or a woman tells you, oh, let's start planning together. I'm not saying they mean bad for you all the time. They might just be very genuine. They might just be, as me and you, be naive about the whole legal processes or legal aspect of it. They just come in clean to the table. Let's do things together. When we go IKEA, what do we do when we go IKEA? Do we pay for the cup? Do I pay for the glass cup, or do we pay for it jointly, or what? Do I buy the plates? Do you buy the microwave? Or do I buy the fridge? Do we take inventory like Jude bought the glass cup? So by the time they kick him out of the door, I'll be saying glass cup, table fan, laptop, come out. It's mine.
But you know what's funny, right? Do you know what's so funny? Couples do that.
Yeah.
I bought this. I bought that. And it's ridiculous when you think about it. When it comes down to it, couples do that.
You'll be surprised. I've seen a few and they were so vicious. So we can laugh about it. You can be in the moment, like Sandra said. That's why I wanted to pull Sandra on. If you were in the moment, you know, you love it, dovey. You're getting all cozy up, and that's where the talks come. I don't think I'll just come to your house and start telling you that. I'll come first, prepare the mood, maybe candlelight dinner, take you out, and come and say, darling, you know, we should buy that that taxi I want to buy the other day. Let's buy it together for investment, or it will bring money. Or let's do the one now we have is crypto. Let's buy crypto together. Let's jointly buy Bitcoin.
That's a conversation you can
What's your
have
take
with
on
a
that, Sandra?
boyfriend. That's a conversation I can have with a boyfriend.
So you can buy crypto jointly with him?
No, not jointly.
Oh.
But
I mean, you can download the app and you can each buy a share.
Buy it separate, yeah. Not jointly.
So you tell him, buy your own, I'll buy my own.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't mind having those conversations with it because it's you educating me. So those kind of conversations we can have. But us doing it together, jointly, I'm not doing that. That's it. I'm not doing that.
Do you know what's funny? I would actually rather do that with, I think I have really close friends that I would rather do that with.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. I was going to say
just
that.
saying, I'm just saying that out loud.
Family
yeah,
members.
I definitely have I have really like close friends that, because
not
like
family
said,
members, but friends. Family.
I have really close friends that I will do certain things with, and I have no qualms or no issues doing certain things. No qualms or issues doing certain things with them when it comes to like fusing our finances and stuff.
Okay, it's good to know. So viewers, you've heard crypto. That's a big thing now. People who bought crypto,
it sure is.
Bitcoin when it was $1, they're millionaires. So if any of you remember who was the boyfriend or girlfriend you bought Bitcoin with 10 years ago, you better start pulling out papers and going to court. And because trust me, man, because again, it might be one of the parties don't even know much about how to follow up these things. And you're the stronger part and you know this and you say, you know what, let me just manage the account. It happens. It does happen. My wife's life policy.
Teach me how to manage.
I'll be the one that checks everything because I set it up. And if I want to talk to them, she just have to be there to make that phone call and give what's it called, consent for me to continue speaking. So these things happen because we're doing this because we're together, we love each other. We don't really think about all the other sinister things, but it can change very quick. This sounds they shift very quick. Those people who so love it and all, it just shifts and they become so vicious that they use this part of the weak side to attack you. It becomes a form of defense and attack against you. So that's why I believe we have to be very, very careful. I'm not advocating. I know when we wanted to talk about this, most people will think we're talking about the typical boyfriend and girlfriend relationship in Nigeria. We should bring that into where, because recently there's a story where the guy said, because they do send us stories to say, what's your opinion on this? He said he's been paying for the girls' school fees all through. And he did send the girl, he sent the girl to come London to come continue education while he remained in Lagos. And not knowing that she had a boyfriend already that she just, so in effect, he bought a ticket, got a visa for her to come be with a guy. So he's asking, what do I do? And some people say you acted a fool, man.
Yeah.
No, you just have to cut your losses. You know, sometimes you have to hold your L.
Yeah. Okay.
That's an L you have to hold.
Yeah, you just hold it large.
You have to hold your L.
Put as your Instagram profile picture.
Yeah, because when you do, this is the thing, and I think sometimes, you know, when you're doing things for people, you have to do it in mind that I'm doing this, and if I don't get anything back from it, I'm okay with it.
Great.
And that's one thing.
How I operate.
That's how you have to operate. Because if you start doing things with people in hope that you get something back, my guy, you disappointments. Just because I always say this, human beings are inherently selfish.
Yeah, we are. I agree with you.
And we look out for our own interest.
Yeah. That's what I do. That's what I do all the time. I say, look, you got to watch out for yourselves because things can quickly change, man. It's about you. It's not about the other person. Why would you be doing all of that when I don't know whether they've had these discussions, whether she's opened up to him saying, look, I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. I believe if I have the wherewithal to improve your life, I should be improving my life too. So by the time you get up and gone, you won't have just left me on that dump there. I'll be able to say, okay, you know what? I'll pick up and start up again. So I guess that's what it is with the whole. acting married while you are single.
Are single, and it is quite. I'm actually not going to stop saying this. Like a lot. I think the cohabitation, the cohabiting family, is the fastest growing family type in the UK.
Yeah.
I think there's been like between 1996 and I think the last survey was like 2020. There's been 138% increase in cohabitation relationship.
Yeah.
So I think
is that since the COVID lockdown? Is that since the lockdown?
Yeah, between 1996 and 2020.
Yeah.
138% increase.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's yeah. And I looked up, of course, I'm such a weirdo. I looked up the statistic.
No,
and I
you're
was
not.
like, oh. And I was like,
something just came up to my mind
crazy.
now. Another friend left her flat recently and saying she's moving in with her partner because what's the point, Jude? Because she lives there, I live here, so I'm gonna move in with her.
And it makes sense from a financial perspective. You're saving money.
Yeah, exactly. So, so that's my question. That's my question to you both. Is it the financial perspective, the financial benefit that is blinding people to say, let's live together, and they forget the other aspects that things could go sour in future? Because that's what I'm trying to get out. So, are you saying is the is the financial perspective, the beneficial side of things that makes people don't ask the other question or blind them to the faults? Yeah,
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, because I could say to you,
it's the main driver.
If we were dating Nana or Sandra and say, look, I live over in Croydon, you live over in Abbeywood, for Christ's sake, you live in a flat, I live in a flat. We're paying this, paying that. So why don't we just come together? We can save $2,000 every month, and we could go those holidays, and you can just get carried away like, yay, let's.
And you don't ask important questions.
Yeah.
I think once again, like there's nothing wrong with doing that if that's the choice you want to. I just need to
I
put it
hear
out
that
to people,
too.
please.
Yeah, I want to hear that
choose
too.
whatever, like do whatever works best for you.
Do what you want to do.
Life. Do what you want to do. But I think yes, by all means, do that. But you also have to be smart about it and look at certain things and look at the repercussions of you doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Because in every other decision that you make in life, you weigh it up. I don't understand why, when it comes to relationships, people don't think this way. They just
good one that you pointed that out. You two of you mentioned about death being sacrosanct, something we don't talk about mostly in our community. But again, death, relationship, and marriage and sex, these are kind of sacrosanct to the point of being a taboo in our community. And like you rightly said, we will spend the whole day deciding what food we want to put through our mouth, but we won't even spend a minute to talk about life insurance, policies, or where we going. I don't get it. Or your funeral plans. Why is that? It's what it is.
I don't know. And I think it scares people.
It scares me too. Like I said, I had a phone call one time and I cussed her out. I'm like, you see, your mother is gonna die. Not
oh
me.
my gosh, your mother is gonna die, boy.
Not me. Like I'm too young for that. But no, obviously that's what I was thinking. But it's because a good thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I always keep saying the only thing that's guaranteed in life is death. Is inevitable.
It is what it is.
It's in your best interest to plan,
taxes,
for it. And taxes. It's in your best interest to plan for it.
I remember one time
it's wise to plan for these things. Now I
remember one time I was coming from work and a lady met me at the train station a long time ago, and she said they were selling some stuff, trying to do people with the back pains. They want to help you out. Come see us. So I said, no, I don't have back pains. Leave me alone. And she said, come over. I went. And she said, do you work and live in London? I said, yes. She said, as long as you work and live in this place, you have back pain.
Oh, God.
She was trying to tell me the inevitable. Plan for it. You will definitely have back pain because the work is killing. You're either standing all day. You don't get a seat on the tube or on the underground. All of this is going to work on you. I guess that's what it is. I guess that's how we should talk about these things. Death is going to come.
Yeah. And you have to plan for it.
Problems.
So I didn't know any better, but now I know it's important to plan for these.
So it's just
so problems are going to come in relationships too. You can be the best lovers today, and tomorrow you'll be throwing each other out, and you'll be like, "You only came here with a bag. Take your bag and be gone."
and that happens too.
Yeah, take your bag and be gone. They'll be like, no. I came here with this. I brought the bicycle. I bought the microwave. And you say, okay, wait outside the window. Have it.
Oh my God.
So this is it. This is what it is. So I think we've trashed it as much as we can, and we're going to call it a day. People out there, you've heard. No, none of us are telling you do not do these things of your own free will. We're not saying become risk averse. We're not saying just see the next person coming with this sort of advice. Only can we have this conversation? You think, oh my God, the boogeyman is here or the boogie woman. No, we're saying use your head instead of your heart. That's what it is, eh? Nana,
Yeah,
use your
definitely.
head because instead of
Use
your
your
heart,
head
because your heart,
instead of your heart.
like
Yeah.
many instances, and personally, the heart always leads one astray. Oh, you know, the heart just
The
sees and
heart will
leads
have
you straight.
the heart will have
The
you doing
head,
stupid
man,
things.
the head does think. The head does think, and the head will set you on the right path. And yes, I'm not going to ask you guys to stop acting single while you're married. That's your personal choice.
It's
But
up to you
Nana,
what you want
our
to
legal
do.
experts here, and
Yes.
Sandra
Thank you so much,
has
Nana,
just
for
told us.
Oh,
this is
you're
very
welcome.
Yeah.
This is very
So
informative.
truly and
So
truly, thank you very much. It's very informative for people. And even me, I'm married, but it's very informative. And my wife is watching as well. So I guess she would have picked up on some things here and said, okay, maybe I should start taking the inventory. What did this guy buy anyway in this house? Okay. And yeah, on that note, we're going to say thank you very much for joining us tonight. And please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and share. And please leave your comments for us and tell us things we're not doing well so that we can learn and be better tomorrow. Thank you very much. From myself, Jude, from Nana, from Sandra.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Bye.
This is us.